There are so many different ways to connect with God. And as much as I love temple worship, it is the intimacy of home worship that has brought a sense of peace and stability into my life. Not through doing something grand, but by paying attention to the small things, the little variations, the meanings behind what we do. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yesterday was Narasimha Jayanti, and today I just wanted to share what has stayed with me. Narasimha Jayanti isn't a festival that we celebrate widely. In fact, I had barely thought about it before. Krishna has always been my closest form of Vishnu. Narasimha was a form I knew of, but I've never really connected with it. Yesterday, on the advice of a priest I often consult for advice, I spent some time reading Srimad Bhagavatam. It is divided into various cantos. For yesterday, I was reading Canto 7, chapters 8 and 9, and I very highly recommend reading it alongside an English translation and a good transliteration, because saying these words out loud has its own special magic. The story is simple. It starts with a very powerful asur, Hiranyakashipu, who is granted a boon that makes him almost impossible to kill, and he exploits this power. His son, Prahlada, is born deeply devoted to Vishnu, and he spends much of his life in bhakti yoga. His father cannot tolerate it. He tries again and again to break his son's faith. And when that fails, he tries to kill him. When he's about to do so, he asks his son, "If your God is everywhere, is he in this pillar? Is he coming to save you?" And from that very pillar, Narasimha emerges. He is neither man nor animal. He emerges at twilight. He is at the threshold, so neither inside nor outside. He steps outside of every condition of the boon, which then grants him the power to kill the demon king. But in the verses that follow, nothing is gentle. The text describes Narasimha tearing open the demon with his claws. He even wears his intestines as a garland. There's a passage where the Pitras thank him because the demon had consumed the offerings made to them by their descendants. And when the body was torn open and the stomach was revealed, they got to see those offerings, and they found peace. It was power that is terrifying, and I use that word deliberately because I've read the Devi Saptashati, and even there, where Kali drinks the blood of the demons, the text does not feel as raw as this. And what has stayed with me even more is that after this moment, Vishnu remains in that fierce state, so fierce that even Lakshmi, his consort, does not approach him, and the gods offer their prayers and their gratitude to him from a distance. It is ultimately Prahlada who walks up to him and touches his feet. And that is the point at which everything softens. Chapter 9 is Prahlada's prayer, and it feels completely different. Because what it shows you is this, that bhakti is enough. He is the child of a demon, but he is so devoted to God that even he is held. After reading, I spent some time writing down my thoughts, and I'd like to share that. I've realized that the two chapters had a strong theme of protecting your inner truth. Prahlada's faith never wavered. It represents the destruction of ego, Hiranyakashipu represents control and complete denial of the divine. The text talks of divine intervention there at the edge, that God will appear for you when things go too far. And ultimately, I feel so protected after reading that text because, unlike Krishna or Rama, this form says, I will protect you, even if I have to become terrifying to do it. There was a prayer that I chanted yesterday as well, and that stayed with me well into the night. In fact, I was unconsciously saying it in my mind as I fell asleep. Lakshmi Narasimha Mamadehi Karavalambam. Together, the words and the text made me realize that you don't live in Narasimha energy. You don't live in anger and fierceness and that sort of rawness, but you can trust that it exists. That if you are truly aligned, like Prahlada, then even if you stay soft, something fierce will rise for you when needed. It certainly did for me. I've had a long phase without any rituals, without structured prayer, without a deity in my home. My faith was questioned, it was challenged, it wasn't even allowed to exist. That's the sort of company I fell into. And yet, I don't think my faith ever really left, because I kept on and on asking God, please tell me you're here. And He responded. I truly believe that there was divine energy that stood by me. It didn't perform a miracle, but it gave me the strength to push my way out of that mess. And that's what Narasimha Jayanti gave me. A very conscious understanding of how God responds to your pleas, to your doubts, to your fears and your anxieties. And today I can say with a full heart that you can trust that even if you aren't perfect, even if you falter in your ritual obligations once in a while, as long as you don't completely dispel God from your heart, from your thoughts, from your mind, that your intention is to find your way back to Him, then when the moment comes, something will rise within you. Something fierce, something protective, something divine. Join me in the next episode as I keep exploring these small, everyday ritual insights and what we can actually do with them